Hi guys, Tracy here, and I'm going to scrapbook one of these two. I'm going to actually only do the one of her awake. This is a picture of my little Siamese cat Naomi. She's very tiny but very old. She's 16 and a half, and my husband took this picture. We needed a picture of her because somebody wanted to draw her for us, and so here she is. My husband took that picture, and it's a really, really beautiful picture, so I had to scrapbook it. So at this point, I'm just looking through the Lost in My Mind kit and trying to think about what kind of color scheme I might want to use. And because of the green bedspread, it's a blanket that sits over our bedspread. It was hard to pick a color scheme, but I ended up deciding to go with a monochromatic, or I guess not really monochromatic, but like a black and white and yellow color scheme. Even though there's green in the layout, I'm going to go with just yellow as embellishments, and this is going to be a very small, like this layout is going to be, this is my third video that I've narrated this afternoon and this morning, so bear with me. This is going to be a layout that uses very few embellishments, and it's basically the background paper is going to be the main event, and then there will be a few little embellishments around it. I try to do that when I'm using such a very busy and elaborate background paper. I like to kind of take it easy on the other things that go on that kind of a layout. So I have these Jelly Bean Soup bean board alphabets, and it's a bit of a challenge finding the letters that you want when they're all randomly mixed up like that. So bear with me while I take out the letters that I'm looking for. And what I'm looking for are the letters that spell out the word "They Call Me Naomi." Although I was sort of thinking about looking for a better title, so I wasn't doing a great job of looking for the letters because I was kind of half thinking about a better title and half looking for letters, so I missed some that actually belong in the title. So all of the A's were in the bottom of the bag, so I had to pull out these to get the M's and the A's for my title. And there's the eye. So now I'm just going to put all these back in the Ziploc bag. I just put them in one of the Ziploc bags that the kit came with. So the kit comes in a large bag, and then a bunch of embellishments are put into smaller bags that are within the big bag. And so I always hang on to those just because it's good for, grabbing and putting things in on the go. So I always have a little stash of bags for my kits that are left over. So here I am, I'm just picking out some of the monochromatic papers. I thought I might add some blue, but I'm gonna go towards the monochromatic, kind of just yellow, yellow being the only color on the layout. So I love this paper, and I love it whole, but I'm going to cut it out because it will still leave a fair amount of it intact, but I want to cut out this flower that has a bunch of kind of black and white ones, and then one that has the yellow splotch on it. So I just switched scissors, and I'm sorry that I'm not in frame. I thought I was in frame this whole time, so I suspect you're not going to see much of this. I'm just using my small scissors, and what I do when I'm fussy cutting is I just keep my scissors mostly still and move the paper. I do more moving of the paper than I do moving of the scissors. And I keep my elbow kind of tucked into my body, and that keeps everything pretty stable so that you don't have jaggedy lines. You want them to be pretty smooth when you're cutting. And now when it comes to this flower, I'm going to try to cut out most of the splotch, so not just the flower. I'm going to kind of just cut a jaggedy line kind of around the yellow part, because I want to get that watercolor effect. If I cut out just the flower, I would lose some of the watercolor effect of that yellow splotch. I'm going to go back and cut out that little piece between the two stems. And there we go. I'm going to put that somewhere over there. I wasn't too sure when I cut it out what I was going to do with it, but once I cut it out, it seemed pretty clear that it would go over there. So I didn't even really experiment with putting it anywhere else because I know that my little embellishments are going to go to the bottom left-hand side um, of the picture. And I'm going to replace this because I cut out a part of that black and white paper that had some blue on it. I thought I might want some color on this layout, but it turns out I'm going to go against that. I'm just going to move all of my letters over here so I can have a sense of where the title is going to go. And this title is going to be floating. It's not going to be anchored anywhere, so that means it's not going to overlap anything and it's not going to have anything behind it. It's just going to float right on the background paper. And that's a little bit different for me. I don't usually do that, but you know, it's not wrong or anything. It's just not the way I usually do it. There's no right or wrong in scrapbooking. It's just whatever you feel like doing, right? So I'm just going to cut some more strips of black and white paper here. That one's not going to make it onto the layout, but I cut it anyways. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go back and, yeah, right now, I'm going to replace that one that I got with the blue on it, just with the same paper, but just a black and white part of it. So then I have a yellow ormolu tag from the kit as well that I'm going to use on this layout. And then I grabbed the yellow cardstock that came in the kit and I punched out some hearts that I'm going to use down in the bottom right hand corner eventually. But after I punched it, I thought, well, I think I can probably use the negative of that punch as well. So I'm going to layer that in behind like that. That's going to give me something that will anchor my tag so that the tag doesn't float. It could have floated, but I'm just going to layer it. And now I'm looking at these Amy Tangerine stickers, and at this point I'm full-fledged going into only yellow on this layout. So I'm looking for yellow stickers, and there weren't that many that were going to work with this layout. And so I did take this yellow circle that it does have pink inside of it, but that's okay. It's like a pop of bright pink isn't going to hurt the layout. I think it just kind of adds to it actually. So I have an assortment of strips at the bottom, a couple of kind of layered doodads with a tag over on the left side, and the flower over on the right side. Taking a picture because I'm going to start to glue things together now. And before I do that though, I think I'm going to outline this little tag. It's an ormolu from the cut-aparts that came in the kit. It's an ormolu label. I'm also going to outline, I'm sorry that that's out of frame, I forgot to move my camera, but I'm just outlining it with a Stettler Lumocolor marker, which is a slick surface marker. You could also use a American Craft Slick Writer. Then I just use my Martha Stewart pinked circle punch to punch a pinked circle. Funny how that works. And now I'm just going to get another punch. I want to put a black shape on it. So I'm using this, I think this is Glitz Designs paper, and I just punched a Martha Stewart butterfly using my Martha Stewart Anywhere on the Page punch. So this kit came with lots and lots of black and white patterns, so I'm trying to make the most use of all the patterns that come in the kit. I grabbed a couple of rolls of washi tape from my stash just so that I could add another horizontal element that's going to be a pattern, and it's going to be yellow, and so that's why I chose the washi tape. So now I'm just kind of sticking everything to the photo because I have to kind of decide where I'm going to put the photo based on how that flower sits. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing now. I'm coming back soon. I can see my hands. There we are. Yep, I don't know what I was doing there. But I did scooch over the negative heart punch piece, the yellow one, and I'm just kind of pulling it up and gluing it down so I don't have to worry about getting it straight. I liked how it was, so I didn't want to move it too much. I'm going to go ahead and put that washi tape down. It just adds a bit more yellow to the layout. I needed some down there. I'm just stapling the butterfly to the pinked yellow circle. And now I'm using some little pieces of foam adhesive to keep the butterfly wings from sitting flat on the page once I put it in my page protector. And then I'm just using my sticky thumb adhesive to glue that down. And I'm kind of layering it with the photo so that the yellow part goes under the photo and the butterfly goes over it. And I just used more of that adhesive to stick that flower in place. I don't love how I wish I had put it a little bit at a slightly different angle, but once it's down I can't pull it up, so I'm just going to go with it. Adding some foam dots just to make sure that those leaves and flowers stay up. I actually love how wispy they are. They stand quite high off the page. It's just the way the paper goes. Once I put it into a page protector, it'll sit down, but I love how it stands up when it's not in the page protector. So now I'm going to set about to put down these letters, put the letters in place. And I'm using my Tombow Mono Multi glue, which is quite blobby because I was storing it upside down, which is great if you want to use lots of it, but it's not great if you want to use tiny little bits of it. So it's blobbing out quite a bit, and I'm getting a little bit of a mess on my layout. This glue is not shiny like Glossy Accent, so it's not going to be such a big deal if some of it oozes out, but it is going to make it difficult for me to outline these letters later on, and so that's something to just be careful of. Choosing your adhesive, you don't want something that's going to be too blobby. As I went, I kept kind of dabbing it with a paper towel. That's what I do when I reach across there. And as I went, it got less and less blobby. There's just a bit of pressure inside of it, so I'm just kind of taking off the wet glue with my scissors, which I'm probably going to regret. My scissors are probably going to be all sticky now. And as I set up these letters, I don't want them absolutely straight, but I don't want them too twisty-turvy either. So I'm trying to make them just like every once in a while I put one that's a little bit off kilter, just so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to make them straight. I also don't want to make it look like I'm trying to make them all bouncy. So yeah, just kind of trying to put them like I didn't think too hard about how they went. So now the idea that I had about using this background paper is that I would put Naomi's nicknames around the hearts, just kind of randomly. So we call Naomi a whole bunch of different things. The kids gave her some nicknames, and I have some long-standing nicknames. The longest standing one is Naomi Bar, like Nanaimo Bar, but Naomi Bar. And the other one is Naomzers, which my daughter has really picked up on. But we also call her Newton because she loves gravity. She likes to just kind of watch things. She kind of nudges them along a table until they're right at the edge, and then gives them one last nudge and then watches them drop on the floor. So I called her Newton when she was a kitten because of that little habit that she had. I think a lot of cats do that. So now I'm just taking the hearts that I punched from that punch that I used the negative of, and I'm just putting them so that they look like they're kind of floating up here on the side. And now I'm going to do my journaling here. Sorry, it's off camera. Just a tiny bit of journaling. It just says the kitty with many names. And oh yes, now what I'm doing is I am outlining, and in just a second I'm going to move this over so you can see what I'm doing. But outlining these kinds of letters when they're on a busy background makes quite a big difference in the readability and just in the impact that the title has. So you can see here how, They Call Me is not outlined, and the more I outline, the more impact this title gets. So once I finish Naomi and take my hand away, you'll get to see, how the word Naomi is quite a bit more bold than the others. So even though this takes a little bit of time, and my marker did a little blob there, it takes a little bit of time, and it can be a little bit risky because if you mess up, it can look messy. It's really worthwhile to do this because it does really give your title a bit of oomph and helps it to stand out. And the more you do this kind of tracing, the better you get at not going off the lines and that sort of thing. You just kind of, I just kind of press my marker against the letter sticker, and then I'm just really careful as I go around the corners to make sure that I don't let my marker jag off to the side or anything like that. So there's the layout. I think it's done. No, I'm just going to do a tiny bit more outlining. I'm going to outline these hearts just to give them a bit more emphasis. I thought they were kind of getting a little bit lost and looked a little unfinished too. So I am really digging this layout. I wasn't sure that I would like it, and I just didn't know about it. But now that it's all done, I really, really love it. I don't know why I don't do more of these single color layouts because I absolutely love them. I love them when other people do them, but I rarely try them myself. So just adding a couple more nicknames every here and there to the hearts. And now you'll get to see some of the close-ups. So those are the letter stickers. Even with that little blob on the C in call, it still looks better outlined than not outlined. So jealousy, Naomi bar. I call her jealousy because whenever I pat the other cat, she comes running. Naomsers, smelly cat. That's from Friends. That's a rude one. And then Tiger, I called her Tiger for a little while when she was a kitten because she's such not a tiger that she's such a gentle cat that she got the nickname Tiger just because of that. And then Hello Kitty was the last one. And the kitty with many names, and then you'll get to see some of the embellishments like the strips of paper and the washi tape and that sort of thing. So thanks so much for watching. Check out the pictures that come next, and feel free to leave me a question or comment below, and I hope you all have a really great scrappy week.